for cheap PC games? Check out Kingwin.net. Click the link in the description below to help support the channel and never pay full retail again.
Yo, I'm Brian P. You're watching Bad Seed Tech, and today we're taking a look at the Basilisk FPS mouse from Razer. This guy measures 124 millimeters long, 75 millimeters wide, 43 millimeters high, and weighs in at about 110 grams on my scale. The body here is matte plastic with RGB lighting on the Razer logo and the scroll wheel. It's an ergonomic right-handed mouse that feels pretty close to the Logitech G502, but it's a little bit bigger, so it's a perfect fit for me. My hand measures about 21 centimeters from palm to fingertip. I can use this as a claw or a palm grip, but the palm feels better to me. Actually, right out of the box, this is probably the most comfortable gaming mouse I've used, second maybe only to the Myonix Nails, and that's saying a lot. But due to the grip with this mouse, it feels a little more agile in gameplay. You do have a thumb rest here, which I really like, and really grippy grooved rubber on both sides of the mouse. Razer's rubber compound that they use for the sides of their mice is the same one you see on like the Lancehead and the Naga Trinity. This has got to be the best rubberized texture I've seen on any gaming mouse. My only gripe with this mouse is I wish the rubber on the right-hand side went all the way up to the triggers, because that's where my ring finger rests, the tip of it up there, and I wish it was rubberized all the way up there. But other than that, it does have the groove, so it is going to gather some debris and some dirt, so it'll need some cleaning from time to time. The left trigger has a comfort groove, whereas the right trigger just kind of slopes down towards the side of the mouse. It makes for some really interesting lines when viewed from the front. You also get dedicated DPI up and down buttons, two side buttons that have a really great feel, not too stiff, just right. The scroll wheel here is lit on either side. It's coated in like this knobby rubber. It's really easily activated and does not have a side-to-side tilt. The Basilisk has easily the best implementation of a sniper button or DPI clutch I've seen on any mouse. You get these two metal lever-like buttons in two different lengths, so you get really nice positioning under the thumb depending on the length of your thumb, or you can just remove it altogether. This mouse feels most comfortable to me without the sniper button at all, because your thumb can really tuck in the full length of that groove there and give you a lot more control. It's also cool that when removed, the plug for this hole is rubberized, so if your grip sits further up on the mouse, or you just have freaky long thumbs, you get rubber all the way to the tip. Who writes this shit? I actually found the shorter lever of the two to be better for me because it allowed a real stable thumb position but still had the clutch functionality. And I've seen the forum posts denouncing a DPI clutch or a sniper button as being new, but keep in mind you can reassign this to anything. You can use it for push to talk. You can put a macro there if you want. I like to bind it to the shift key for games that have a mechanic where you hold your breath before you take your sniper shot. You can even bind it to Razer's hyper shift so you can temporarily remap mouse 1 and 2 to stuff like takedowns or grenades. Don't hate the extra button, use your imagination. Underneath you get 3 large glides and 1 around the sensor itself. You'll also see a profile select button, which we'll touch more on in just a sec, and something I've never seen before, a resistance dial for the scroll wheel. A lot of mice feel great at first, and then they lose me with the scroll wheel, so I was very excited about this. At maximum resistance, you get a very audible and very tactile click. It sounds like this. Both the tactile feel and the sound coming off the scroll wheel decrease as you move down the resistance wheel. At 0 resistance, it makes no sound whatsoever, and it feels super smooth. It's not going to free spin in there like the Logitech G502 or G900 series. It just sort of glides in there. It feels incredible. And while I like the free spin of the G502 or G900 series in certain scenarios, it oftentimes finds me accidentally switching weapons mid-game. The cable is flexible, thin, and braided. It's got a black chrome tip with that Razer green insert. As for internals, you get Razer's own switches and their in-house 5G 16,000 DPI sensor. I thought it performed very well on the Naga Trinity, and it does here as well. All the features of this mouse are powered by Razer's own Synapse 3 software. They've made huge strides in compatibility with legacy devices here, so you should only need one version installed on your system. It is important to point out though that it is still in beta. And here you can set up all your chroma lighting, your Philips Hue integration, all your button assignments, your DPI levels, and set up your profiles. You can store up to 4 profiles on this mouse, but they do come with some restrictions. 1, you can only assign simple lighting effects, i.e. static, cycling, breathing, and reactive. There's no configurable options, and you cannot assign any of the RGB zones independently while you're in this mode. Second, if you plan on removing the software after you set it up, or you travel around with this mouse to different systems that don't have Synapse enabled, all of your DPI settings and your button assignments will travel, but not your lighting profiles. The mouse just goes into color cycle mode. Lastly, when you're using the profile button to change profiles on a system with Synapse installed, you won't see that LED change color. Instead, your profile will be indicated on screen. That LED is only going to change color if you're using it on a system without Synapse installed. So even though it's considerably heavier than a lot of the FPS mice I've been using as of late, I have a really hard time not recommending this mouse. Now, you'd definitely be correct in drawing some pretty direct comparisons between this and the Logitech G502. And the 502 is a beast, don't get me wrong, but they do a lot right with this mouse. The buttons all feel fantastic. The sniper button is the best I've seen, and the scroll wheel is easily my favorite of any mouse I've owned so far. The fact that you can dial it in to complement exactly the way you play really goes a long way with me, but do yourself a favor and try it on the lowest resistance. It's amazing. Even after long sessions, it still feels great, and the rubber on the sides never gets slick, which is an issue with a couple other mice I own. In-game, the sensor did take some getting used to for me. Most every other mouse I own has a 3360 in it, so it did take me a few days to adapt to Razer's sensor, but I don't mind. The comfort and functionality of this mouse kept me from just immediately jumping back into my comfort zone with a 3360 base mouse. I got a feeling this mouse is going to be on my desk for a while. I wasn't really convinced that we actually needed another FPS mouse from Razer because we already have the Death Adder, but this is a completely different animal. It easily makes my top 10 despite not having a weight adjustment system of any sort and being heavier than mice I normally use. It just has so much in the comfort and convenience department that it really stands out, and out of the box it just kind of fits me like a glove. Big thanks to Razer for sending this out for review, and as always I will leave an affiliate link in the description if you'd like to grab one for yourself. And yo, I'm still getting a ton of comments from people on every video that is surprised that I'm back making videos, and I've been back for a while, so do me a solid and click that notification bell icon so you always get the latest drop. If you haven't noticed, they've been coming out a lot more consistently lately. And that's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and until next time, stay up. This mouse feels the most comfortable to me without the sniper button because your tongue. Boy, bring me my beard.